Hello, Maynard Public Schools community members. I am Brian Haas, Superintendent of Schools. Every other year, we conduct a youth risk behavior survey in collaboration with Emerson Hospital. The purpose of this survey is to gain a better understanding of the health issues faced by our students here in Maynard. In our school community, we also have an active wellness committee which uses this data for setting health and wellness goals. We took a moment to gather members of our school community for the purpose of sharing some key takeaways from this year's survey. After hearing from these individuals, we are going to share our plans for the future.
Four percent of Maynard students said that they had no place to go, and 9% were unsure. Even if one person feels unsure or unable to seek help, that's a problem. Everyone should feel included and comfortable speaking up about something that is bothering them.
In the 10th grade, especially present concerning results in regard to many of the issues across the board, but all students could benefit from adults at Maynard High School reinforcing that we're here for them and care about them.
As assistant principal at Fowler, I was really struck by the fact that this year's 7th graders reported an increase in being bullied at school. This correlated with the high rate of students that felt they did not belong. 20% reported that they have been bullied in the previous 12 months, a number I find particularly upsetting.
In 2022, 6th grade had 46% of students who get less of 7 hours in sleep, and 8th graders had 59%. High schoolers had 81%. The percentages being so high is concerning because lack of sleep can be from stress, which will result in more stress for students in the future. It's a never-ending cycle.
And although 70% of Maynard students feel they have a trusted teacher or an adult in the school, I would very much like to see this number in the high 90s. I'm especially concerned about our 10th grade, as establishing relationships during COVID has been difficult. As a school nurse, I strive to make all students feel welcomed in my office.
Of particular concern is always the student who feels separate from everyone else, and in this survey, the group that emerges like that is transgender and non-binary students. They experience more issues overall.
6th grade students had an 8% increase in having hidden social media accounts. I believe that this statistic is relevant and important because most 6th grade students are under 13 years old. However, most social media platforms require users to be at least 13 years old to own an account. Hiding social media accounts from parents can lead to other risky online behaviors or unwanted situations with strangers online.
One of the factors that stood out to me as a negative on the survey was the impact that was reported by transgender and non-binary students. These students report lower levels of resiliency and therefore conversely higher levels of depression, anxiety, and suicidal ideation. Transgender and non-binary students are more likely to experience sexual harassment. Lastly, the transgender and non-binary students are at higher risk of risky behaviors such as viewing pornography, having intercourse, and exchanging sexually themed messaging.
One negative result from this survey is the increase in sexual harassment among 8th graders and high schoolers. Knowing that not all students share this vulnerable information means that the percentages could be higher. For obvious reasons, these results are very concerning. Students who have been sexually harassed have a higher depression and suicide rate and are more likely to drink alcohol and use drugs.
The statistics about body image reveal that 33% of 6th graders and 36% of 8th graders identified themselves as being very or slightly overweight. These numbers have increased since 2020. In addition, 36% of Maynard students said that their weight often, usually, or always influences how they judge themselves.
So the percentage of the students who exhibit negative behaviors seems to stay somewhat consistent over previous years, but it's still too many, and Maynard High School should reach out to specific groups about issues and offer training or awareness sessions.
I saw that when it came to people having somewhere to go when they needed help, 87% of Maynard students felt safe to seek help when they had an issue.
Stress related to COVID-19 has decreased dramatically for high schoolers since 2021, indicating the pandemic is not taking as much of a toll on these students' mental health in 2023. So that's good.
One positive move at Fowler is the introduction of after-school activities and clubs based on student interest, which is a program we're looking to grow over years to come.
The e-cigarette usage declining over the past 4 years. In 2018, the percentage of 6th graders was 3%, in the 8th grade was 16%, and high schoolers was 32%. In 2022, the percentage of 6th graders is 1%, 8th graders is 1%, and high schoolers is 11%. The drastic change I notice is with the 8th grade and high schoolers. I think it's amazing how much the percentage dropped within the past 4 years, especially with COVID hitting us in this time.
One of the factors that stood out to me as a positive on the survey was that many of the students did feel like they had a trusted adult within the building that they could confide in when they had an issue. The number of students who felt that they had a trusted adult was about 95%. The survey only reflected about 5% which didn't, which was a really low number. I felt confident that the outreach by things such as the advisory groups, clubs, and other extracurriculars had really contributed to that number.
High school students reported 24% less stress from the pandemic during 2022. This could indicate that the effects from the pandemic are slowing down, and students are returning to what used to be normal. With less stress for students, we can allocate more effort into positive habits and academics.
And the Youth Risk Behavior Survey provides a glimpse into the aspects of students' lives that many teachers aren't aware of.
The number of students having more than 6 hours of screen time a day has decreased remarkably since 2021. The decrease in screen time means that kids now spend more time with their friends and family instead of spending it on a screen. High screen time can lead to an increase in depression, poor body image, and overall poor mental health state. So to see a decrease in these numbers is good and hopefully means that screen time will decrease even more as time progresses.
We are countering the trend of bullying by encouraging activities that help students feel part of the school community, building resiliency and self-esteem as students, while also immediately addressing situations where students are being unkind to each other. Our latest initiative, which started after holiday break, was to require that students in grades 6 through 8 turn in their cell phones for each class period. This will hopefully limit the amount of unmonitored social media use and texting within the school day. Teachers already have reported that students are more engaged in learning and appear to be happier. This is a work in progress, but hopefully the steps we are taking will prove to be beneficial.
The positive news is that health classes at Fowler continue to emphasize the importance of body image, healthy eating, and regular exercise. Students also learn how advertising and the media in general portray body images that are unrealistic and far from ideal. In addition, we talk about eating disorders, the short-term and long-term effects, warning signs, and where to get help. Furthermore, our district's wellness policy emphasizes the importance of nutrition education at every grade level as part of our continuing efforts to help students realize that proper nutrition and regular exercise are lifetime practices.
We feel it's important to help students from the earliest ages build resiliency and not be afraid of failure. We try to urge parents to allow their children to be independent and to develop a growth mindset and bounce back when things don't go well.
The Youth Risk Behavior Survey is 76 pages long and has been available via our website. For transparency purposes, I have also sent it to everyone in our community by the way of my weekly newsletter. As you can all see in the production, we here in the Maynard Public School system are doing everything we can to stay proactive in keeping our students safe and providing them with the best opportunities for their futures. Thank you all for listening.